Hello, beautiful person. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chu, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use one of my favorite time manipulation VSTs in a video that I'm going to affectionately refer to as the Gross Beat Masterclass. Today, you're going to learn how to use Gross Beat to bring character to your beats as well as improve your overall structuring. But most importantly, I want you to come away from this feeling like Gross Beat no longer scares you and that you have the full confidence to use it in any project you desire. Any drum sound you hear used in this tutorial can be found 100% free in my 14 drum kit, and you can access that in the first link in the description below. Please drop a like on this video as it greatly helps my channel against the YouTube algorithm, and as you do, I wish you a wonderful learning experience. God bless you and enjoy. Now we've got Gross Beat opened up on our melody effects bus, which is the same thing as opening it up on our mixer track. And we've got Gross Beat opened up. And so just going through it like really quickly, it's gonna have all these presets that you can work through, and yeah, they're pretty nice, and they're gonna help you like definitely get some really nice starters for your ideas. And so these green ones are gonna be time manipulation things, which is what we're gonna be talking about mostly today. So actual time manipulation, and then time manipulation in respect to pitch manipulation, and then these are more so volume automation. So those are like, you know, gating, glitching the volume in and out as you go, and we can talk about that on another day. But then just getting right into this, so the first thing we're going to talk about is time manipulation. So the way that I like to do time manipulation on Gross Beat, honestly, is I'll just you could do this one of two ways, and it's like this is like the sound of like trap music. There's like a lot of there's like a million time manipulation things you could do with Gross Beat, but like the thing that I like to do is like, and the thing that like most producers, you'll hear most producers do is just like the half speeding the melody, literally. So there's two ways that you can do that really simply. You can actually just go to the Momentary preset bank, which is stock in Gross Beat, and then you go to this half speed preset, and it's gonna apply the effect automatically to your melody. So let's solo that from the drums really quickly. And then this is it again without Gross Beat. So if I can show you what Gross Beat is really doing, because this is really important to understand. When you're watching Gross Beat actually play, you're watching Gross Beat play over 4 beats, basically. So if I could turn it back on and show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you turn on your metronome, it'll be the same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? So why is this important? So you need to understand that because Gross Beat is not playing the entire sample. Gross Beat is only playing the first 4 beats of the sample, but then it's stretching it over like 8 beats, basically. And then it'll do that again for the next, whatever the next 4 beats is, but like in 8 beats, if that makes sense. So let's try to like count that out, and let me try to explain that. So 3, 4. So for this entire section of this, so for this entire like 2-bar section, it's only playing this 1 bar actually, but it's stretching it out. So what it's doing, so this is literally what Gross Beat is doing actually. Right? So here's what that sounds like with no Gross Beat, right? Which is just the normal melody, right? But check this out. If we take this section of which, you know, we already know Gross Beat is repeating over and over again. We make this a unique sample so we can have it as our example. And then we just stretch this out. Oops, turn on stretch. Stretch this out. It'll double the length automatically and we won't pitch correct it. Oh, whoops. Oh, and then you have to lower the pitch also because it's on auto. Same thing that Gross Beat was just doing. So once you grasp that, like then you can really start to like have fun with the power beat. And there's a bunch of, you know, things we can mess with here. A lot of fun stuff. like there's a 2 time speed. And that's pretty cool. Some of the presets in Gross Beat, because of the way they're set up, I don't know the specific reason why, but it takes 2 bars to start up. And then if you're trying to use the preset for some reason and it has that issue, you can always just record it as a wave clip and then just edit it until it's like a 4-bar loop. That's super easy to work with. So there's other cool stuff too, like this can add a little bit of texture to your melody. There's reverse, which I believe is another one where it takes a couple beats to start up. And just to show you like actually like how you would do that. So basically here's what I would do if I wanted to do this. I would basically mute everything in my playlist except the sample that I wanted to record. And then I would come here and I would just make up like a spacer pattern. This is what I call these, basically just blank patterns, so that FL Studio knows. So either that I can like duplicate over stuff like in whole patterns, or so that like FL Studio knows to like record like dead space basically. So that's what I'm doing here. I just want FL Studio to record this dead space so that I know like where the sample starts and stops. And then what I'm gonna do is, so right, I know that that is the only thing playing. Turn off the metronome because FL Studio will record your metronome. It's actually the craziest thing in the world. So then we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna make sure that our mixer track, our master track, is armed to record. We could arm, you know, the sample to record or the melody effects bus to record, but I'm just gonna record everything from the master because I'll just make sure I get everything plus the effects so that I can show you like basically how you would do this. So basically just take that melody with the reverse effect or any gross beat effect that you have, but that's doing like that weird time skip thing that's like kind of preventing you from using it. And then just, you can use Alt plus R on the track that's armed to record, and you're gonna bring this up and then you just hit start to render it. It takes a couple seconds. Close out all of this, open your playlist again, and then your melody should be in your playlist. It should have rendered. If for some reason it didn't render to the playlist, it might have rendered, but it's not in the playlist. It didn't auto render to the playlist. So be sure to check, you know, in your browser over here to make sure that it's there, and if not, just render it again. So then you can come in here and we're just gonna mute everything real quick, so everything is just this other melody. And then as you can see, it just takes literally those first 4 beats, boom, 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 and then it starts. So all we have to do is just boom, cut it, and then boom, it's a perfect 16 bars, just like that. Cut it. So, you know, there's, you know, you could do a bunch of fun stuff with gross beat, just with like literally just time manipulation. It's so fun. But typically, like the thing you're going to hear the most is like, this is the sound of like trap music right now. This is usually what you're going to hear. You're going to hear like, so this is like a lot of people will do. And like I've even seen, like, I'm not gonna drop any names, but I've even seen people teaching this in like courses that cost $500. And it's just crazy to me because like it's one of the simplest things in my opinion. So, you know, you'll get regular melody for 8 bars. And then this next melody will be increased by like an octave, right? So you can just make that unique and then increase it an octave. Right? So that's a way you can make your melodies seem like they're different without like actually changing the melody. You know, like you can add variation. That's one way to add variation to your entire like melodic composition without actually making a new melody or like adding anything extra. But then like the thing that people will do is they'll come into gross beat And then they'll do this, and I'll show you the other way to do this halftime preset. So I'll just delete this and open up a fresh gross beat here. And they'll just come to this, literally it's the first one when you open it up, come to this preset basic 8 right here. Take this point, boom, drag it to that very top corner, let it snap there and let go. It's the same thing as the halftime. And so what they'll do for that last one, is they'll just come here and it'll transition into like a halftime of that high pitched melody. And it just sounds super hard. Like, I'll let you even hear it on top of the drums really quickly. So we'll get into how to actually make it transition when we talk about automation in a couple of minutes. But I just wanted to show you, like, that's basically like what a lot of producers are doing. You don't have to pitch it up, but like that's basically how a lot of people are just structuring their melody so they can get a lot of beats out. And so yeah, I am really excited to show you guys that later, because I don't know how many times I've said this at this point, but like that is literally the sound of hip hop. I cannot tell you how many beats I've heard that on, like whether it's major hip hop stuff on Spotify that's getting millions of streams. It's like the most basic, like fundamental trap beat making technique you can think of. And so moving on to step number 2, or like technique number 2 for gross beat, which is another one that I really like actually, is pitch manipulation. So if we just hop back in here, I'm just going to show you guys, like, this is actually pretty quick, and it's just another cool thing that you can do in gross beat. So let's go to like a pitch manipulation, like preset bank, and let's find something. Pitch shifter is actually perfect. So like literally right in here, you can change the pitch. So instead of changing the pitch using the sampler settings and the channel rack, using this and the coarse and the fine tuning ones, you can literally just do it on gross beat. So let me show you what that sounds like. I'm gonna show you a couple of these presets. Low pitch. Raise it up 1 octave. I want to bring it to like a 5th. So something really cool about these pitch correction ones in particular is like you're gonna get a little bit of popping, and that's just the nature of like how like time shifting and pitch shifting kind of works. So there's a declick function actually built into these, and you can play with the attack and kind of, you know, fade in or fade out the way it's popping until it sounds really good to you. And you can also play with the release and the tension as well, the tension envelope to kind of, and the volume as well to kind of like get it to really sit really nicely. We'll talk a lot more about that in the next gross beat tutorial when we talk specifically about the volume controls. But I did want to go ahead and mention that really quickly because they are helpful, particularly for like pitch manipulation in gross beat. So that's fun. You could even like turn your whole melody into a freaking ARP. So next is glitches and stutters, and this is just another quick section, just going over something else that you can do in gross beat. So if we just come in here, which is the stock preset bank that's going to open up when you open up gross beat, some of these basic presets are just like stutters and glitches and stuff like that. I like that one. We're gonna have to come back to that. That was basic 6, definitely. So, but there's other cool ones too. Like I think the Momentary Bank is another good one for like stutters and stuff. If I could find that Momentary Bank. So half speed again, not a stutter. Some of these are more time manipulation, but they're still doing stutter things. Actually, to be honest with you, half speed in finality is really just a very, very like fine staircase stutter. but it's just like so fine that you don't see like the steps and stuff like that. That kind of brings us into the last really cool thing that I wanted to show you guys before we even get into automation, which I meant to cover in pitch manipulation, was that depending on how you snap these things, you can get a bunch of different effects. So here's a preset that I made, and this is just like a time manipulation and a pitch manipulation thing at the same time. So it's not exactly halftime, and it's not exactly a stutter. So it's stuttering it at a certain like time interval, but then it's also manipulating the pitch. And I just did that by like, I knew that like if you drug it here, it would be halftime. So I just did that. I just rose it up a little bit so it would change the pitch, and then I did it over twice, and it just made a cool preset that I use all the time. And that's literally like the functionality of gross beat. So here's what this sounds like real quick. It's not always good, but sometimes it turns out good. So let's see what it sounds like here. I actually love that. So I'm going to just move the 808 to match that, because I actually love that. So now we're gonna get into automation. This is like, if everything we've been learning up until this point is like level 1 magic, this is how you get into level 2 magic of like gross beat, basically. So like if you've stuck around long enough, like, and it's really only gonna be like a certain type of person who's gotten this far, who like actually wants to learn like in depth how to like make the most use of gross beat and like understand the best use cases for gross beat. And like, honestly, I appreciate you for staying, and like it's more so for me to deliver the value than to like try to like say some kind of like edgy thing or do some kind of like cool joke to like get you to keep watching, or to sell you some shitty kit or something like that. That's not really my goal. I just want you to like learn how to make, I genuinely want you to learn how to make better beats. So I appreciate you for sticking around, because like, of course I benefit from it too, but like genuinely I'm trying to provide value. So again, like, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And so yeah, the question comes up, it's like, okay, so I don't want gross beat on just, you might have thought about it already. Like, you might be thinking, okay, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, but what if I don't want this on every single area of the beat, every single sound, every single like whatever? What if I only want it in certain sections of the beat? What if I only want it on certain melodies? So I'm gonna answer the last part first, so we can just get that out of the way. If you only want it on certain melodies, you can just instead of doing a melody bus, you can just literally put gross beat on each melody as you track it out. That's not super hard. If it seems complicated, just drop a comment in the comment section. I'll help you understand it better. I can even drop like a brand new video explaining it a little bit better. But this is like the best I could explain it to you for that, without like, I don't know, coming to your room and like literally showing you how to do it. But let's say like you want to like only do it for like a melody only on a certain part of the beat. So like you want like normal melody for like 8 bars, and then like you want gross beat for the next 8 bars. So the way you do that is with automation. That's your solution to getting like things to happen in the beat in certain parts, and then not having it happen in other parts of the beat. This is really important because you have to understand that trap music is like, that's basically all of hip hop now. Like there's R&B, which is kind of like analogous to hip hop sometimes. And then there's still like hip hop, you know, like Griselda shit, like boom bap shit, lo-fi shit, but like majority like hip hop, I'm talking like over 75% of hip hop is literally just trap music. And trap music is literally just pop music. And that's why like hip hop is now the biggest genre in the world. Like hip hop is not the biggest genre in the world because people are listening to like lo-fi beats and like boom bap beats. Like that's part of it, like that's helping for sure. Like do not get me wrong, like look at Eldre, for example, going crazy with the lo-fi beats. Like please do not misunderstand me, that's not what I'm trying to say, but like an overwhelming amount of it is like trap music. So the thing you have to understand is that like trap music is the same as like if you're making like a pop song, and that like pop music is like pop music is like it's supposed to be catchy to your ears, so something has to be changing like basically every 4 to 8 seconds, or like every 4 to 8 bars, otherwise the listener's gonna get bored. And that's why songs are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, because like it's getting harder to keep changing stuff every 4 seconds for that long. That's why songs keep getting shorter, and that's why anybody who's smart is making their songs shorter instead of longer. And so that's like the whole game with like hip hop now. Even if you're doing boom bap stuff, even if you're doing like lo-fi stuff, shorter songs that have a more pop characteristic to it, you know, ear candy stuff, things that are changing up every 4 bars, every 8 bars, those are going to be the best performing songs. And automation really helps with that, because it helps you control when stuff is happening in your beats and when stuff is not happening in your beats. Again, like the operative word here really is ear candy. So what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm just gonna show you how I would make an automation. So really quickly, so we have that's like our gross beat. I'm just gonna call that like our pitch correction gross beat, or correction gross beat, right? So then our next gross beat is gonna half speed gross beat. Okay, right? So what you do is I always copy the value so that I know what value I'm starting in, and so that I can paste that value back in as I create automation points. So I always copy the value first, and then I go ahead and create automation, which is right here, and I'll create an automation clip, and it's just going to create an automation clip in your playlist. It'll do one of two things. It'll create an automation clip for the entire playlist for everything that has like actual content in the playlist, or if you highlight a section and then do the same thing, create an automation clip, it will create it, but only for that section that you highlighted. So that's 2 ways that you can do that, and I'll just go ahead and delete that really quickly. So we only have the 1. So basically what you do is you want to set your automation point first, ideally. So you'll just come in here and you'll right click wherever you want your automation point. So here is where I want my automation point when the melody starts coming in, for this second 8 bars where it's raised an octave basically. So then I'm just gonna bring it down and bring all of this down. So there's gonna be no gross beat happening here now, because if I leave this up, basically, there's gonna be gross beat happening here. So right, once it's on, you'll have gross beat there. Right? You'll have gross beat there, which is cool, but that's not what we want. So we have to drag that down. And then what we're gonna do is, since we want the gross beat here, we're just gonna create a new automation clip by right clicking right here. So it's very important to make sure that your grid is snapped to something that's reasonable that you can see and move around with well. So I have mine snapped to beat because that's really easy for me. If I had it on like none, it would be impossible to make accurate automation clips. It would be very frustrating. So grid snapping is very important when you're using automation. Like, please snap your grid when you're using automation, unless like you're going for something that doesn't like explicitly require you to snap it to the grid. Then that's fine. You can like draw automations and do cool stuff, but usually you want it to be clean and tight. You probably want to snap it to the grid if you're a beginner, I'd say, especially. So yeah, back to beat. And so you could just, drag it all the way to the top because we want the full effect. But if you drag it, like say halfway in the middle, it's going to do the halftime effect, but only halfway. And it's going to do a halfway mix of it. You can see that here. And you can see that it's half. And you can hear that low end character that comes in. So check it out. Let's make it a little bit more epic. So that's another thing you can do with automation. You can play with the mix right in the playlist, but we're gonna go ahead and just make it all the way full. And that's another thing that I didn't even talk about in using gross beat and really any plugin in general, is you can play with the mix right in gross beat. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that real quick since I didn't actually cover that initially. This time knob is gonna be your mix knob, so I'll show you that really quickly. Boom, so that came in because we set our automation, but then you can set your mix here too. So that'll be the mix of the effect when it comes in. But again, we want the full thing. And you could even, you know, set automations for this. You can set automations for literally any knob in FL Studio. So yeah, this definitely brings us into the last section, which is texturing. So this is going to be super quick, and it's not in depth for the reason that like it would be way too complicated if I took it any more than the surface level. You kind of have to just take this and like find like various use cases for what I'm talking about here, especially because it's related to audio buses and sends and stuff. Actually, it's going to be a send for this one. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to create another send. So we're not routing our melody bus to another track entirely. We're just doing a send. So we'll just do route to this track, not route to this track only. And we'll just call this our texture send. So here's like a really cool thing you can do with gross beat. Instead of gross beating the entire melody, you can gross beat a copy of the melody and then mix that in with the original signal. And so I talk about this like very, very well in my Southside tutorial that I just dropped recently. It was a tutorial on how to make beats like Southside from scratch using only stock FL Studio plugins. It's really, really good. Definitely go check that out. So this is like my melody, and I'm just gonna solo that for now. So then I could add like another gross beat on here. And like, let's say I wanna come to like this section where it's playing the high melody, but it's gross beated, so it's low again. So if I'm like, that's a little too low for me, or like, you know, there's not enough going on there, I want some texture, some color or something, I can like come here and I can go to like, let's do, oh, here, this is perfect. I can like high pitch it. So what this is, since this is a send and not a bus, it's not the whole melody, it's literally just a copy of it. So then I can take this, listen to that. There's the original signal. Here's the copied signal with the gross beat high pitch. So I can use this to add texture. And then I can just automate this volume knob, or this volume slider, so it's only happening where the gross beat is. So I could do that really quick so that it won't happen anywhere else. And then boom. And then you'll see everything automate. So you'll see this gross beat knob automate, and then you'll see this slider automate at the same time. So check it out. So boom, that's actually a really cool way that you can use automation and gross beat to, you know, kind of like put texture into your melodies. And that's just another way that you can do like super cool things with gross beat. So again, the things we covered are time manipulation, pitch manipulation, glitch and stutters, automation, and texturing. There are like literally endless things you could do with gross beat. So that was only 5, you know what I'm saying? Those were like 5 kind of more overarching concepts. If you have any questions about these or about gross beat in general, or about other topics that you want to see me cover in the future, go ahead and just drop a comment below. I'd love to answer it. I would love to tap in with you about what you want to see next, or what you want to know about beat making. But other than that, please drop a like on this video if you learned something new, because it greatly helps my channel against the YouTube algorithm. Like, I can't even lie. Other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, always be creating. Just make sure it's dope content only. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.